I came back Wednesday night of last week. We've now been in this campaign less than 10 days, really fully. I stayed there for very important legislation. Being chairman of the Labor and Public Welfare Committee, I steered through that conference committee with the House, the greatest education bill ever passed by any government in the history of the human race, with $24.6 billion to be spent over 3 years to help the education of the school children of America. And I stayed there for that, and all through the Senate, not through the conference with the House yet. The Hill-Burton bill, type of hospital construction that the administration vetoed last fall because of the need for hospital rooms in America to care for the ill of this country, and we put in that $6 billion for 5 years to build hospitals. Oh, that's the kind of thing my opponent says he's against. He says he's against these spenders. He apparently wasn't against the spending of $5 billion, $200 million on one airplane with the Lockheed Aircraft Corporation. He had a power to share the rest of it.
I don't know why we should not have student deferments. I think it's been a good thing. You get the index of the capabilities of people. You find out, you catalog, the reading we did start with, you catalog your capabilities for future scientists, future leaders, and then they're committed to serve. Don't lose sight of this fact. When a person is deferred, his age is held back. When his deferment is over, he becomes the minimum again under the law. If the draft age is 19, when he finishes his 4 years deferment or flunks or quits, under the law he's again 19. And he goes back in that assembly line, or that bowl, whatever you want to call it. He calls it a random selection. The real name for it is a lottery. And when his deferment is over, he comes back in anyway. Now say that the president only drafted 19-year-olds. We recommended this to Lyndon Johnson, and if you'll take that and a normal mix you'll get from those who have been deferred for one reason or another, whether it be college or occupational or whatever it may be, you get your normal mix right there. Now if you stop all deferments, your mix may be one age, and I don't think this would be good.
The legislature is going to be faced with a new penal code. What little I know of the preliminary work on this, that we'd be a whole lot better without it in toto. I know that may not be a particular work of your committee, but the writer of this wanted to reduce all penalties to 3 months maximum for drugs, which I don't think is unrealistic, and made misdemeanor paid possession of heroin a misdemeanor, but I think they finally got it back as a felony now. But
you're referring to
the whole revision
committee that's revising the whole penal code.
Your drug problem will fit into that, but there's a lot of reasons that I oppose it. Probably the big overall reason, and the reason I'm saying this is because I know how those things get passed, because I know how the Code of Criminal Procedure got passed. They sent it around to all these lawyers, and all of them don't read it, but go ahead and say, well, Page Keaton wrote a good one, and Page knows about as much about criminal law as my 14-year-old boy, and I went to school down there to him, so, that's my school. Your legislature passed the Code of Criminal Procedure 4 years ago, or nearly 4 years ago. Still, we don't know what the proper procedure is because it hadn't been tried out in the higher courts. Then we get hit with a new penal code. It'll be 5 years before we know how to draw an indictment on some of these. As you may or may be aware, they divide all offenses into number 1 offenses, number 2 offenses, number 3 offenses. They set a blanket punishment for all number 1 and 2 and 3. But we're not going to know till the higher courts pass on every one of these things exactly whether we have a good indictment.